Multitasking. Have you mastered multitasking? That you're doing this whilst you're doing this, whilst you're doing this, whilst you're doing this. That used to be me. Like, I was a master. You couldn't tell me anything about multitasking. I'd be cooking whilst listening to a podcast, whilst writing an assignment, whilst cleaning, whilst doing all sorts of things until I got burnt out. And I used to be such an advocate of multitasking because, let's face it, not everybody has the time to be doing one thing at a time all the time. However, for your own personal health and your productivity, I'm going to share with you why multitasking isn't always a good thing. We live in a world that says that you can do it all, you can wear all the hats. I'm a mum, I'm an entrepreneur, working a full-time job, trying to get my kids to activities, trying to go to the gym, go to church and do all of these things. But your health is important. Your health is your wealth. And there is no point you getting burnt out or trying to do too much to the point where you get nothing done at all. Trust me, I've been there and I've learned a few lessons whilst on that journey. So what is burnout? Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by stress and a bunch of other things. You're running on fumes. You're running on empty. You know you're tired and you're still trying to tick off that to-do list. You're still trying to do this, that, and the other. The biggest lie I've told myself is, let me just do this. Let me just do the cleaning. Let me just tidy up real quick. And 3 hours later, there's everything on the floor and I'm wondering why I started it. Because I thought, let me just. Don't do it. Are you a person that has multiple tabs open on your computer? You're checking your emails, you're checking Slack, you're on YouTube, you're running between this, trying to reply to this email, and then trying to do this, and then now you don't even know what you're doing because you're just running through different tabs. You're trying to cook whilst you're trying to clean, whilst you're trying to mow the lawn, and you're trying to do the homework. All of those things, multitasking. So what is the downside of multitasking? I'm going to share 4 downsides of multitasking. And the first one is time. I used to tell myself that I need to multitask because I don't have the time in the day to do everything. So I'm going to do 6 different things at once and therefore I'm going to save time, right? Wrong. It actually made me so much more unproductive because I wasn't getting anything done. One thing that would take me 20 minutes, because I'm multitasking 5 different things, it takes me 2-3 hours, or I might not even complete that task. So whilst I thought I was saving time, I was actually spending so much more time on a task than I actually needed to make. So is your multitasking really saving you time, or is it taking away time that you could have used just spending that time on one thing, focusing on that one thing, and then moving on to the next thing? The second thing is productivity. Again, I used to think I'm going to be so productive. I'll do this and this at the same time, whiz it all out, and then move on to the next thing. But it affected the quality of my work in whatever I was doing because my brain is so overwhelmed. My brain is on 7 different things. It's literally trying to use all its power to do this whilst doing this, whilst doing this, whilst doing this, that it just feels overwhelmed and there's no focus. And when you're not focused on something, you're prone to making mistakes. And when you make mistakes, it affects your quality. So when you're multitasking, are you really giving 100% of your time to that one thing, making it excellent, making it really good? No, you're giving 10% to here, 20% here, 30% here, and by the end of it, you become jack of all trades, master of none, and you're actually not really known for anything. You're just doing things substandard just to get it done. Why not focus your time on 1 or 2, really focus your effort on those things, give it your all, give it 100%, and then make sure you've done that well. Your brain is not overwhelmed, your brain is not fried because you're doing all of these other things. Just really focusing that time and doing one thing at a time will save your brain, will thank you. And the third thing is your energy. Have you ever finished a day and gone into bed and your brain is just throbbing? Like it's literally going, there are many days, many nights I have done that. And my brain literally is fried and I can't think, and I physically don't have the capacity to even come up with one idea. Like, my brain is so tired, my body's exhausted, because I've spent so much time. I've spent the whole day doing 700 things, trying to focus on different things, that now I'm going to bed, I'm irritated, I'm irritable, I'm angry because I don't even know why I'm angry. I'm just upset with everybody because I set a to-do list that was so unachievable in the first place, and then tried to achieve everything on this unrealistic to-do list. And now you're tired, now you're exhausted, and now you have to sleep, wake up, and then you do the whole thing over again. You will get burned out if you don't slow down. We are humans. You will feel overwhelmed, and you just won't be really nice to hang around with because you're exhausted. You've got brain fog, mental fog, you're not thinking clearly. You are just getting by, but you're not thriving. You go into survival mode because your brain is eventually going to be so tired, it's now functioning at a minimum capacity. And then the fourth and final thing is your memory. Constant multitasking affects your memory. It affects your ability to be able to recall things, because imagine a laptop and you've got so many tabs open, you've not really reset your tabs in a very long time. Your laptop starts to slow down. It starts to not work as efficiently and as effectively as it's supposed to, because it's just so overloaded, because there's so many tabs and you're asking so much of it that its ability to even click on a new tab, it's lagging. And the brain is the same thing. The more you just expect it to work in overdrive all the time, it'll slow down, and you'll find yourself struggling to remember things, struggling to recall your memory because of the intense pressure of constantly multitasking. And that's when people burn out. Now, we need you. The world needs you. The world needs you. So in order for you to thrive and be an amazing mom, an amazing business person, an amazing human being, your cup needs to be full. And your cup isn't going to be full by constantly multitasking, and to a point where you're going to burn out. So what can you do to change that? I'm glad you asked. I'm going to share 4 things that will help, that I've used personally, that will help you not multitask. And the first thing is to prioritize. You have 24 hours in a day. You can't conquer the world in 24 hours. I'm sorry to tell you, you've got 24 hours in a day. And if you sleep 6 to 8 hours, you're down by some. So being realistic about what you can achieve in that day. There is no point doing an endless to-do list of 50 different things and expecting to check that off. The moment you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So by prioritizing, choose maybe 3 things that are the most important thing for you to do today. And instead of focusing on, I need to tick off my checklist, be focused on the outcomes. What are the outcomes that I want to achieve today? So by the end of the day, I want to have done this, as opposed to I just want to tick off a bunch of lists. What is important to achieve in this day? And that will be the main focus. If you get that big thing done, that's great. And then you can have a bunch of small things that you can add around. So for example, I wouldn't be able to plan 5 YouTube videos, record all 5 videos, edit all the videos in the day, do the thumbnails, do the description, and post them all in a day. I've actually tried to do this, by the way. I know that you can't do it because I've tried. So being realistic about what you need to do, order it by priority. What are the most important things today? What's important but not necessarily urgent? What's urgent? What do I need to get it done? And then you do that thing first. That will be the first thing that you're doing. Rather than trying to get through all the small things and then you leave the big urgent thing till last, and by that time you're already tired. Prioritize. What's the most important thing today? What's urgent? What's non-urgent? And do it that way. The second thing, which is my favorite thing to do now, is chunking your time, organizing your time. If you don't organize your time will organize itself. And I really believe that. If you don't organize your day in some way, shape or form, how you do that is completely up to you. But I recommend, because it works for me, chunking my day. So what I mean by this is, if I know I want to do a task, I want to plan my YouTube videos, I will put in my calendar, I'll block out my time, 2 hours for this project. If I need a bit more, sometimes I'll give myself a bit more time. But I know that this 2 hours is uninterrupted time, and I'm chunking this time for this project. I'm not trying to use this time to do 5 different things. This 2 hours is for planning my YouTube videos and nothing else. And within that, you can factor in, I'm gonna work for an hour and then I'm gonna take a 10-minute break, come in and do another hour, and then that's me done. But prioritizing and then saying, this is the time allocated for this project and this project only. Not starting this project and then open your email, someone sends you an email, now you're on this, and then, oh, actually your phone's rung, now you're on the phone talking to somebody, and oh, actually now you need to send an email again or check your Slack, and by the end of the 2 hours, you've done nothing. Which leads on to the next point is, the third point is minimizing your distractions. Minimize your distractions. Distractions are everywhere. And your phone, oh my goodness, is the biggest distraction. Remove the distractions. If you've blocked 2 hours down for something and you want to get it done, sometimes I do not disturb. I put my phone on do not disturb. I shut down all my tabs and I focus. Sometimes I even put my phone somewhere because I know I'll get distracted by it. For the next 2 hours, I'm focused. Or you can factor in breaks. So you can say, I'm gonna work solidly for 30 minutes and then I'm gonna take a 5-minute break and use my phone. But with that, sometimes 5 minutes turns into 45 minutes. So just be wary and careful about that. But remove the distractions. It's a distraction. Let me just quickly go on Instagram. Let me just quickly call my mum. And then now you're giggling for an hour and a half when you had something to do. Remove or minimize distractions by all costs. And then the fourth and final thing is create a later list. Now this, I promise you, this was life-changing for me. I'm someone who's constantly thinking, oh, what about this? When I take my kids here, I'm gonna do this. If I reply the emails, am I gonna do this? And these are all the things that then would lead me to getting distracted, or lead me on this rabbit hole of things. And I'm now multitasking because I started something, got distracted by something else, and then moved on to this one, and then I got distracted and then moved on to this. A later list, when you're in the middle of your block or you're middle of doing something, having a list, whether on your phone or on a notebook, of things that you're going to do later, that's you acknowledging, okay, I need to do this. You write it down and then you continue what you were doing. Oh, something else pops up, write it down, that's for later. Whatever you think of, put it on the list of later and continue to focus on your one task that you're doing at the moment. Because when you keep it in your mind, you think, oh, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'll remember it. And then now you're taking up unnecessary brain space. Just write it down and continue doing what you were doing. If I'm talking to my fellow multitaskers, is multitasking serving you? Ask yourself that. Is it really serving you? And if not, I encourage you to do the 4 tips that I've given you today. Prioritize, chunk your time, remove distractions, and have a later list. And let me know how you get on. See you in my next video.